Monty Scheinblum here. We're going to talk about another thing that's mislabeled as a swing fault, but in actuality is a necessary compensation to hit the ball decent when you have some other swing faults that you're trying to manage. Nobody wants to cast. That's this move, where you throw away your wrist angles way too early. It's weak, you don't hit the ball solid, you don't hit the ball straight. Nobody wants to do that. All of the prescriptions for fixing that: hold the angle, hold the lag, hold off the release, go wide to narrow, all these nasty things. Well, what you're doing is you're fixing something that's absolutely necessary to hit the ball straight and solid when you're doing something else, and it's not addressing the something else, okay? So the actual throwing away of the wrist angle too early, that is not the fault. That is a symptom of something else entirely. So here are a couple of common examples, and there are many, many more. So if you take a backswing and your upper body moves toward the target, now my spine is tilted this way. I'm very, very steep to this ball. And if I rotated correctly and held the angle, I would literally take a divot with my driver or put a nice sky mark on the top of it. So what your body does is it recognizes you're too steep and it throws the angle away. Now this doesn't look like a very good impact position, but that club face is square and I'm going to hit it in the middle. So the cast is not the swing fault. The swing fault is this move, which is putting you in a position where you absolutely have to cast in order to not have a complete disaster. So under that scenario, if I held the lag, if I held the angles, the result would be horrific and you'd ruin your golf club. Another really...
Just watch this part. He'll show it here. This is the other dip. I call this the dip. Dip. He's over exaggerating, obviously. But you still get the point of what he's saying with the dip. I'm going to stop the video right there. You can see that in the video he actually presents 3 reasons as to why people cast the club. However, for both of us, the reason that we cast the club is the first reason. And that first reason is that our move is towards the ball. Our move is towards the ball with our head and with our left side and our shoulder. We're diving into the ball. And that causes us to have to stop our movement and then essentially cast the club, and that takes away all the power that we get within our shots. We're going to move in here now in a sec. We're going to get into your swing. Here's your swing. This is here at full speed. You'll see. Okay, a little bit there. Slow it down. You can see again. We're going to slow it down even more. And right there you can see there's that move, that dive into the ball. Now you've got to cast the club. One more time. Diving into the, coming back, coming back, coming back, coming back, and now diving into the ball, and a little bit of a dip. And now, it causes you to cast the club. Watching my swing, you'll see the same thing. At full speed, it looks like it's a pretty good swing. I'm going to slow it down here. There you can see it very clearly there, how that move, that diving towards the ball, and I've got to straighten out. The reason what happens is then ends up casting the club. You can see at the bottom how the club is moving as fast as my hands. It doesn't have that extra movement there. We're going to go watch ahead here now, looking at Colin Montgomerie. I know that Colin may not necessarily be the most ideal, but watch his swing. Look at that. We're going to slow it down. Have a look and see what he does. Watch. He's there, back. Look at how his back. That movement with his head is back away from the ball. We're going to slow it down even more. Look. Away from the... Colin is the best example that I've ever seen of somebody in terms of having just a great, fantastic swing. You can see one more time. Straight up, straight up, straight up, back down. You can see how much lag he's creating with the ball. I'll try and slow this down and see if I can get a stop of this. Because you'll see whereabouts his club actually is when he's swinging it compared to ours. This next guy is named Alex Etches. He hits the ball about 350 yards. His swing speed isn't terribly much faster than mine, but he swings with the perfect launch conditions. The spin that he creates on his swings is around 2,000, a little bit under 2,000 RPMs. In comparison, mine's at about 2,800 to 3,000, and that's the difference between 20 and 30 yards of distance on the driver. We're just going to keep him slow, but I want you to see the same thing. He's back, 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 and look at where his head goes. Back. At no point is his head, does his chest, does his left shoulder, does anything move towards the ball or even towards the target. You can see that everything stays straight up and down right here, and back and through. This is the difference between being an okay golfer, a good golfer, and a great golfer. This is the difference right here. It's not anything else. Until we learn how to be able to have this move properly, we will struggle with the consistency of strikes, consistency of striking the ball, and then also just giving up distance, losing distance on our driver, on our tee shots, and even with the irons. Watch this video a few times. I'll come back here and put some more videos of your swinging, and you can see the difference of what's actually happening here. The other piece you'll notice on the backswing is coming back is the movement of raising on the backswing and then coming down and then coming back up. You'll see it again here. So here we go. Going back. Now there's that raise of the upper body. Up, up. Now it comes down, and now it's got to come back up again. And by that point, you've lost your cast. You'll see here on the downswing, I've stopped the video right here. That's where your hands are. So when your hands are at 90 degrees back behind you, that's where your club is right there. That's how much lag that you've already lost on your swing. I'll grab the same picture in a minute here with Colin Montgomery, and you'll see where his hands are on his swing. Now if you look here, this is the same spot. This is his downswing. So you can see now when his arm is 90 degrees, or is completely parallel to the ground, look at where his club is. And so his club is still behind his head. That's how much more lag he's creating on his backswing versus what ours are. For both of us, when we have our swing, when our arm is in this position parallel to the ground, our club is straight up and down. I'm going to grab mine as well, just you can see here on mine, it's the same thing. This is a little bit of a funny angle, but there's a little bit more lag in mine, but still not a lot. And I'll show one more angle in terms of lag, in terms of the difference of it. Okay, one more look at it. So this is now your club as you've come down on your swing. So you can see now this is where your hands are now below your belt buckle waist, and you can see that the club is almost straight out. So that means now that the club is moving about the same speed as what your hands are. And that is what prevents extra power from being generated. Now, same thing here with mine. You can see there's my hands. This is on the downswing. When my hands get to my belt buckle, you can see that the club is pretty much in straight line with where my leg is, which means that the club is moving pretty much at the same speed as my hands. That's about how much lag I have. You can see, because my hands will move, you know, a few more inches down on the swing, and then then I'm going to release the club. But that's all the lag that I'm creating on my swing. Everything else, just like I said, moves at the speed of my hand. One more here, and then this is where you can see Collins in terms of lag. This is on his downswing. This is at the point where his hands get to his waist, just below his belt buckle. You can see where this driver head still is. It's still parallel to the ground. Which means he hasn't even released the club. His hands are going to move about 2 inches more towards the target, and then the rest of it's going to be all of that speed that he's stored up. From here, he's just going to release the club all the way from parallel. And you can see, so he's parallel, if you want to say, to the ground. He's at 90 degrees, and we're at 45, even less. Our club, by the time we get down to below the belt buckle, the club's almost just straight up and down.